Season 1. It all started in November 1983. Will Byers leaves a Dungeons & Dragons session, rides his bike home, and never makes it. People in Hawkins assume it's a typical missing person case, but here's the thing. Joyce knows something else is happening. Lights flicker, radios crackle, and she swears she can hear Will inside the walls of her house. Everyone thinks she's losing it. Honestly, most viewers did too at first, but she turned out to be right. Meanwhile, Will's friends Mike, Lucas, and Dustin start their own search. Classic kid detective energy, but fans love them for it. On one of their late-night searches, they run into someone who definitely shouldn't be walking around the woods. Hospital gown, shaved head, barefoot, a girl standing in the rain, eyes wide with fear. 11. And here's where things get interesting. She has legitimate superpowers. She escaped from Hawkins National Laboratory, a place doing medical research the absolute wrong way. They're experimenting with psychic abilities, remote viewing, and trying to reach into another dimension. 11 was raised inside the lab as a test subject. Her powers weren't a gift. The lab exploited and weaponized them. And when the lab pushed too far, it accidentally opened a gate to a dark mirror of our world, the Upside Down. Same layout as Hawkins, but dead, cold, and crawling with something hungry. That something is the Demogorgon, the creature that dragged Will into the Upside Down. Enter Chief Jim Hopper, small-town cop who doesn't believe in anything supernatural until he does. The deeper Hopper digs, the more he uncovers. Surveillance cover-ups, missing files, fake bodies, armed agents. The government is hiding a door that never should have been opened. Next up, Steve Harrington, who fans now obsess over, but back then was just Nancy Wheeler's boyfriend. Their relationship hits a serious bump when Jonathan Byers, Will's brother, snaps photos of Nancy through her window. Creepy? Absolutely. Steve's understandably upset. Nancy, torn between her feelings and the chaos around her, pulls away from Steve. But by the end of the season, they reconcile, even though her connection with Jonathan is clearly growing. Fans still debate whether this was fair, but Steve stays charming regardless, which probably explains the obsession. While this drama unfolds, Nancy realizes her best friend Barb also disappeared around the same time Will did. She and Jonathan team up to investigate. Their conclusion is simple but terrifying. The monster is real. But here's what really hooked viewers. Our first proper glimpse into the Upside Down. Joyce strings up Christmas lights to communicate with Will, and fans were dissecting every flicker. The alphabet wall, now that's become legendary. She paints letters on the wall, hangs the lights, and Will spells out messages from the other side. R-U-N. That scene alone launched 1,000 fan theories. When we finally see the Upside Down through Joyce's wall, viewers noticed everything. The floating particles, like ash or spores. The exact same layout as the real world, but decaying. The vines growing everywhere. Fans immediately started asking, is it the future? Another dimension? A dying parallel world? Reddit went into overdrive trying to decode what those floating specks meant. Then everything collides. Joyce and Hopper break into the lab to reach the Upside Down. Nancy and Jonathan set traps for the creature. The boys hide 11 from government agents closing in. And at the middle school, the Demogorgon finally shows up. 11 uses every bit of her power to destroy the Demogorgon. She succeeds, but she disappears in the process. The boys think she's gone forever, but viewers notice something interesting. Hopper leaving food in the woods. Secretly. Like we weren't supposed to catch that detail. Anyway, the season ends with Will back home. Safe, sort of. But just when Hawkins thinks it can breathe again, something far darker is still watching from the shadows. The Upside Down isn't finished yet. Season 2. Now, cut to 1 year later. Will is home, but not normal. Here's what fans picked up on. He might have returned, but the place he came from didn't completely let go. He's having episodes, visions, panic attacks, flashes of a burning red sky, and a giant shadow figure towering over Hawkins. Doctors call it trauma, naturally, but viewers know better. This is the Mind Flayer. Not a creature or any monster. It's hive mind intelligence. If the Demogorgon was a foot soldier, this thing is the general. It wants into our world, and Will is the doorway. The first time viewers see the shadow monster in Will's vision, it's massive. Towering over Hawkins like a storm made of pure malevolence. It moves like smoke, but thinks like a predator. And those tendrils reaching into everything, fans caught that immediately. Will's drawings become crucial. He covers every wall in the Byers house with tunnels and vines. Joyce and Hopper realize he's not drawing random scribbles. He's drawing a map. The Mind Flayer is using Will as surveillance. Viewers started pausing frames to piece together the tunnel system before the characters did. Meanwhile, 11 is alive. Obviously, killing the hero in Season 1 would have been ridiculous. She's been secretly living with Hopper in a cabin far from town. Hopper's trying the protective dad approach, but 11 wants to see Mike again. That emotional tension becomes one of the main conflicts. Freedom versus safety. New characters arrive too. Max Mayfield moves to Hawkins, skateboards, plays video games, and immediately catches the boys' attention. Then there's Billy Hargrove, Max's older stepbrother. Aggressive, unstable. A character built to make viewers uncomfortable, yet somehow intrigued. Fans still can't explain the Billy phenomenon, but here we are. The Upside Down isn't done with Hawkins. Vegetation starts dying from underground contamination. Tunnels are growing beneath the town, and smaller versions of the Demogorgon, Demodogs, start showing up. As Will's connection with the Mind Flayer deepens, the creature begins influencing his behavior. He's not just seeing the Upside Down anymore. He's being controlled by it. His sketches become tunnel maps. His screams aren't his own. The Mind Flayer starts speaking through him. This is where Joyce proves she's one of the strongest characters in the show. If Season 1 was about a mother refusing to give up, Season 2 is about a mother refusing to lose him again. She, Hopper, and Will's friends figure out that heat repels the Mind Flayer, so they force it out of Will's body by overheating his environment. It's painful, intense, and emotionally brutal, but it works. Anyway, 11 has her own arc. She discovers she wasn't the only experiment. She meets Kaylee, 8, another child with abilities. Fans still debate whether this subplot was necessary, but it leads somewhere important. Kaylee tries to teach 11 how to weaponize her anger, but 11 realizes something crucial. Her strength isn't about rage, it's about connection. This is where fans noticed a pattern. 11's powers spike when she's protecting people she loves. Not when she's angry, not when she's scared, when she's connected. Remember when she saved Mike from jumping off the cliff in Season 1? Same energy. The lab tried to weaponize trauma, but 11's real strength comes from love. Cheesy? Maybe. But fans eat this stuff up, and honestly, it works. The people she loves are her power source. So she comes home, right when Hawkins needs her most. Hopper and Joyce are attempting to close the gate, but the Mind Flayer is pushing back through the tunnels. 11 arrives, focuses everything she has, and closes the gate, sealing the Upside Down away from Hawkins once again. The season ends with the kids finally experiencing something normal. The snowball school dance. Mike and 11 slow dance. Will laughs. Lucas and Max share a moment. Everything feels safe. But fans know Stranger Things doesn't do final endings. The camera flips upside down. We're back in the dark reflection. The Mind Flayer is still there. Massive, patient, watching the school through smoke and storm. It didn't retreat. It adapted. Season 2 ended with the monster watching Hawkins from the Upside Down like a storm cloud waiting to break. And Season 3 answers the question, what does a creature like that do when the door is closed? It finds another one. By the way, if you're enjoying this deep dive into Hawkins' history, I'd really appreciate it if you could hit subscribe. It helps more than you know. Season 3. It's the summer of 1985. Hawkins is bright, colorful, and louder than ever. A brand new shopping mall just opened, Starcourt Mall, and it becomes the new center of town. Food courts, neon lights, movie theaters, the works. But while teenagers are navigating summer romance drama, something else is happening underground. The Russians have arrived, not to invade the US, not to start a conventional war. They're trying to do what Hawkins' lab did, reopen the gate to the Upside Down. Only this time, they're doing it with drills, machines, and a base hidden beneath the mall. And when the gate cracks open, even slightly, the Mind Flayer reaches through. But here's the thing. Instead of hunting from the shadows, it possesses. Its first target? Billy Hargrove. Billy was already angry, volatile, traumatized by his childhood. The Mind Flayer doesn't just take over his body, it uses his pain as fuel. Billy becomes the Flayer's host, and fans notice something unsettling. Even possessed, Billy's charisma somehow remains intact. From there, the monster starts building an army. Not creatures this time, but people. Ordinary Hawkins residents start acting strange, disappearing, then reappearing with no explanation. Their stares go cold, their behavior robotic. Anyone infected becomes part of the Mind Flayer's hive mind, and the creature itself. It grows a physical vessel made from the melted bodies of the possessed. Yes, melted. Viewers weren't prepared for how dark this season would get. Meanwhile, the group dynamic shifts completely. Mike and 11 are dating, Lucas and Max are together. Dustin comes back from summer camp with a mysterious radio girlfriend named Susie, whom nobody believes is real. Nancy and Jonathan are working at the local newspaper, dealing with adults who refuse to take them seriously. And Hopper? He's trying to figure out how to be a dad to 11. Awkwardly, but genuinely. The core of Season 3 hits different. Growing up means growing apart. Not everyone handles change the same way. But the Mind Flayer doesn't care who's fighting or who's confused. It's hunting 11, because 11 is the only one who has ever stopped it. The season builds to a showdown inside Starcourt Mall. The Mind Flayer's giant flesh monster charges the building while Hopper and Joyce break into the Russian base below to shut the gate permanently. Then there's Billy's arc, and fans still debate this moment. At first, he's reckless, selfish, completely consumed by the Mind Flayer, a true antagonist. But in the end, he finds a moment of clarity. Protecting 11, he sacrifices himself. It's tragic and heroic, a guy who tormented everyone suddenly becoming their savior. 11 reminds him of his childhood innocence, and Billy chooses to be human again. But here's what really shocked viewers. 11 loses her powers. After removing a piece of the Mind Flayer that had embedded itself in her leg during the battle, her abilities just vanish. Hopper stays behind to destroy the machine. The gate closes, the creature dies, and Hopper is gone. Or so everyone thinks. The season ends with Joyce moving her family and 11 out of Hawkins. The town is no longer safe. Then one final scene hooks everyone. Russia, a prison, a mysterious American, and a Demogorgon. Fans didn't need subtitles to understand. Something more dangerous is coming. Season 4. Season 4 splits into 3 main storylines, but they're all heading in the same direction. 11 is living in California with the Byers family, trying to live a normal life. But here's the thing. Normal doesn't fit her. Bullies target her. She has no powers. She feels cut off from everyone she loves. Her identity was always tied to strength. So what does she have when it's gone? Meanwhile, back in Hawkins, something terrifying starts happening. Teenagers are dying in brutal, supernatural ways. Bones snapping, eyes clouding, no monster in sight. But fans quickly learned the truth. The killer is Vecna, not a creature from the Upside Down, a man who became one. Vecna doesn't attack the body first, he attacks the mind. He preys on trauma, guilt, shame, the wounds people try to hide. And once he gets inside, he doesn't let go. Steve, Nancy, Dustin, Robin, Lucas, Erica, and Max become the core investigation team this season. They realize the victims have something in common. Each is haunted by past pain. Which means when Max becomes a target, the group is racing against a clock no one can see. This leads to the scene that broke the internet. Max running up that hill, while Vecna tries to trap her mind forever. A single memory, her friends, her connections, pulls her back. Fans still call this peak Stranger Things, and honestly, they're right. While this is happening, Joyce receives a message that changes everything. Hopper is alive. She and Murray fly to Russia to break him out of a gulag where he's being forced to fight a Demogorgon like it's a gladiator arena. Hopper survives through grit, exhaustion, and pure stubbornness. He's not heroic in a clean Hollywood way. He's heroic in a beaten, bloody, won't-die way. Next up, 11 goes back to the lab. Not the one that imprisoned her, but the one designed to restore her abilities. She relives everything, her childhood, the experiments, and that's where viewers learn the truth. Vecna was first. Before the Demogorgon, before the Mind Flayer, before the Upside Down was even shaped into what we know, he was one. The first test subject. The lab didn't create the monster. It released him. This recontextualizes everything from season 1 onward. Fans realized the Upside Down wasn't always a hell dimension. When Vecna arrived there, he seized control of it, twisting its creatures and shaping the Mind Flayer into his own creation. This revelation broke the fandom. Everything viewers thought they knew flipped. The Mind Flayer wasn't the ultimate big bad. It was Vecna's puppet, a creature he molded from the Upside Down's particles to carry out his will. The Demogorgon wasn't random. Vecna controlled it. Even the gate 11 opened in season 1 wasn't an accident. Vecna had been waiting, planning, using 11's powers to break through. Fans went back and rewatched everything, finding clues they'd missed. The grandfather clock, the number patterns. Even Will's disappearance wasn't random. Vecna had been watching the party since the beginning. Then came the final battle, split across dimensions. 11 fights Vecna in the mind. The Hawkins crew fights his physical form inside the Upside Down. Hopper fights a Demogorgon in Russia to destroy the last tether, and they win, sort of. Not before Vecna nearly kills Max. Her heart stops. 11 restarts it. Max lives, but her body is broken. Viewers weren't prepared for this level of devastation. And here's the worst part. Vecna's plan succeeds anyway. The gate tears open. Not as a doorway this time, but as a massive, 4-part rupture running through the center of Hawkins. The Upside Down is bleeding into our world. The season ends exactly where Season 1 began. Hawkins is quiet, but wrong. Volcanic ash falls like snow. The sky is red. The land is rotting. And in the distance, the shadows are moving. The visual alone left fans speechless. And now, everyone is waiting for one final season. Season 5. Season 5 brings the story back to Hawkins. The first 5 minutes are already out, and here's what fans noticed immediately. Will's connection to the Upside Down is active again. And if these 5 minutes alone are this haunting, the rest of the season is going to be devastating. But here's the thing. The door isn't just open anymore. The door is gone, and viewers are picking up on something crucial. It all started with Will. It might all end with Will too. So who do you think will survive, and who won't make it out of Hawkins alive? Fans are already placing bets, and let's be honest, everyone's terrified for Steve. Drop your predictions in the comments below.